Operation Avalanche, the Allied land invasion of Salerno. Salerno had been chosen as the first site for invasion of the peninsula because it was the northernmost point to which the Allies could fly planes from its bases in Sicily, which they had already invaded and occupied. On September 22, 1943, the 34th Division, which included the 100th Infantry Battalion, finally landed in Salerno, Italy. After leaving Honolulu 15 months earlier and going through training, they were going to see combat for the first time. On September 27th, after securing the beach at Salerno, the Allied forces went in pursuit of the Germans as they retreated. They occupied Monte Marano and the road junction of Chuisano, marching in the pouring rain through ankle-deep mud. The War Department described the battalion's first week of combat as follows. While acting as advance guard, the battalion advanced 15 miles in 24 hours, operating day and night in the face of strong enemy resistance and over difficult terrain. Although suffering casualties, their advance continued on. All weapons were used with complete assurance. In the 101st battle, they were able to accomplish their first major mission in the town of Benevento, which was a very important rail center and road intersection. Because this was their first look at combat, the Nisei men wanted to prove their worth and their loyalty to America. It was obviously shown in their first battle and their persistence in chasing the retreating enemy by advancing 15 miles in 24 hours. March 26, 1944, the 100th Infantry Battalion, with 200 Nisei replacements, landed in Anzio, Italy, along with the rest of the 4th Division. They had landed in Anzio, which was a 10-square-mile beachhead that the Allies and the 5th Army were tasked with holding. While the Germans held the optimal strategic position on top of the hill that overlooked the beach, during the day they fired upon the Allies on the beach with aerial bombs, artillery rockets, and mortar barrages, including rounds from a massive railway artillery gun. By night, the Allied forces tried to send out patrols to capture German prisoners to interrogate them and find out where the enemy divisions were. They even sent out an entire company, but they could not capture any Germans. Without knowing where the German divisions were, the Allies could not march to Rome. The Allies fought in this position for 2 months until a first lieutenant in the 100th volunteered to capture a prisoner and secure the vital information. At midnight, First Lieutenant Young Oak Kim, who was actually of Korean ancestry, along with Private First Class Irving M. Akahoshi and 3 other Nisei volunteers, snuck past enemy outposts until 2 a.m. when they heard Germans digging a trench and decided to wait it out until dawn because they knew the Germans were extremely cautious at night. At daybreak, Lieutenant Kim and Akahoshi crawled on their stomachs for 250 yards through the grass until they snuck up on 2 German guards in a trench. Suddenly, the Germans were met with the barrel of a Thompson submachine gun. Kim and Akahoshi quickly disarmed the surprised Germans and ordered them to be silent. They then retraced their route, crawling away with their prisoners, listening to other Germans talking and laughing just a few yards away. Because of this valiant act, the Allies finally got the information they needed. Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark, commander of the 5th and 8th Armies, was so pleased that he personally awarded Distinguished Service Crosses to Kim and Akahoshi. By the end of May, the U.S. were able to push through Anzio towards Rome, but were met with a huge German blockade consisting of a complex web of machine gun positions. 2 battalions from the 135th Regiment attempted to take out the machine gun nest, but they were not successful. So on June 2nd, the 100th were ordered to take the German positions. In just 36 hours, the 100th Infantry Battalion cleared out almost a dozen German machine gun posts, cleared minefields, and broke through the enemy defenses. Sadly, the Allies did not know that the 100th was successful in taking out the German forces, so they continued to barrage the position with artillery. By the time it was all said and done, the 100th had signaled the Allies to stop firing, and the 100th had lost 15 men, wounded 63, and 1 was missing. But the 100th had taken out the last German stronghold on the way to Rome, and because of this, the unit received 6 Distinguished Service Crosses, 1 Silver Star, and 3 Bronze Stars. In their first campaign, the 100th Infantry Battalion had fought extremely hard and valiantly. Lieutenant Marshal Haynes, a Caucasian officer, summed up the Anzio campaign in a letter he wrote to Vernon McCann of the Auburn Journal. We had been sitting and living in foxholes at Anzio some 63 days, then the big push out and the capture of Rome. The 100th Battalion wiped out the last heavy German resistance we met some 12 miles south of Rome, and then it was practically a walk into the city. Haynes praised the 100th, stating, "The liaison officers from my battalion say that this Japanese-American infantry outfit is the best damn infantry infantry they've ever worked with. The next night, the 100th rode in trucks 40 miles northwest of Rome and joined up with the Nice soldiers of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, who had just landed in Italy. This is when the 100th became a part of the 442nd, basically becoming their first battalion. For unit morale and historical significances, the 100th were allowed to keep their name in recognition of their unparalleled combat record.